a management, innovation and social media consultant, one of the greatest friends of AllWeb. He decided to move from the sunny Montenegro to the cold Moscow because of love. Say wow! Say it aloud for Vladimir Vulic.
Thank you guys, this was a great introduction. Just to make one thing certain, it was love, but not love for the customer, it was love for my fiancé. Let me tell you a short story about a guy they used to call Ice King. And this is what he looks like. Oh, no, I'm sorry, this is not what he looks like. This guy's name is really Ice King, but he's a cartoon character. So this is what he looks like. His real name is Frederick Tudor. And what he's famous for is that he founded, at the beginning of the 19th century, a company called Tudor Ice Company. He basically pioneered the ice trade. And now you're wondering, what the hell is ice trade? So this is what he was doing. He was cutting ice from the surface of lakes around Boston, New England, in the US, and he was shipping it and transporting all over the world, as far as India and China. So you put 180 tons of ice on a boat and you send it to India. Roughly half of it melts and half of it stays. So about 90 to 100 tons is still there in India. And then you put that ice in, they called it ice houses, like underground, huge underground tunnels, and then you use it for the rest of the year. The ice trade revolutionized first the food industry, and then it invented a whole new industry, cocktails. Cocktails basically didn't exist before the beginning of the 19th century. Why? Because it was very tough to have ice year-round, especially during the summer. And the guy was so successful that he became one of the first millionaires in the US. And the ice trade was so big that it was the second largest exporting industry in the US. Number one was cotton, and number two was ice. So what happened with this guy? What happened with the company? How come most of us don't know about this guy? Well, there's a short answer and a long version of the answer. The short one is basically refrigerators happened. At the beginning of the 20th century, there was the invention of a refrigerator, and you can basically produce ice at your own home. You didn't need Ice King taking fresh ice from the ponds in New England and shipping it to you on the other side of the world. But is there anything else really that happened? I said that was going to be an easy answer. So what really happened? What really happened is that this guy, his company, and the whole ice industry confused their product with their customer needs. Customers didn't care about ice. I'm not interested in ice. I'm interested in making a cocktail. I want to have fun, I want to relax, and I want to sip a cocktail during summer months. So ice is not the purpose. Ice is just a vehicle I'm using to make the purpose. As a company, as a manager, I should not fall in love with the purpose. I should fall in love with my customers' needs. So there's a big difference between what you think you are producing, what you think you are giving to your customer, and what the customer is actually using it for. The customer hires your product to get the job he's needing done. I was a first-year student, and I became acquainted with a book called What They Don't Teach You at Harvard Business School. The author was Mark McCormack, and thanks to this book, I basically fell in love with strategy and management. And there's a particular story I loved in this book, and a chairman of Rolex is sitting with the author of the book at Wimbledon tennis tournament. And in came the guy He sees the chairman of Rolex, recognizes him, comes to say hi, and he asks him a question. How's the watch business? And the guy says, I don't know. I'm sorry, but I don't have a clue. And the guy is now puzzled and saying, look, there's a chairman of one of the most famous companies in the watch industry. I'm asking, how's the watch business doing? And he says, I don't have a clue. And the answer was, Rolex is not in the watch business. We are in the luxury business. There's a huge difference between what we are making and what you are using that product for. Why do you buy the product? So if Rolex was in the watch industry, what need do I have? Just to tell me the right time. But I can buy a Chinese knockoff for a couple of euros and it will tell me the exact time. I have a cell phone and I can use the cell phone to tell me time. So Rolex is not competing with these things. Rolex is competing with a completely different industry, luxury industry. Why? Because having a Rolex on my wrist, mind you, this is not a Rolex. So having a Rolex on my wrist is making a statement, but not a fashion statement. I'm making a statement that I'm filthy rich and that I can throw away a couple of thousands of dollars or euros and put them on my wrist. It's basically a neon flashing sign saying, look at me, I'm so rich. So that's the industry. So I continued learning and studying and reading, and I started exploring the works of Peter Drucker, who is by far the most famous author in management and by far the most influential management thinker to ever live. And I came across his 5 most essential questions for every business. So he says, in order to answer what is your business, you first need to answer these 5 questions. What is your mission? What is your who is your customer? What does your customer value? What results do we seek? And what is our plan? So when you get asked a question, what is your business? You usually have an easy answer, an obvious answer. But that one is almost always not true. The real answer, why the customer is using your product, what job is about to be done by hiring your product, needs more thinking. So you first try to answer these 5 questions, and hopefully then you will have the answer to the big one, to the most essential one. What is your business? What business are you in? And then who is your competitor? So let's try a few examples now. Revlon, what is our business? An easy answer, an obvious answer would be cosmetics. It's a beauty industry. So it's a lip gloss, it's a nail polish. But you already know now that the easy, the obvious answer is not right. So someone asked the founder of Revlon, what is your business? What do you sell? And he says, in our factory, we make cosmetics. But in the stores, we sell hope. We make cosmetics, but we sell hope. There's a huge difference. What kind of hope? Hope that if I apply your lip gloss, I look like Jessica Alba, which probably be very weird. But that's the hope we're selling you in the stores. And then there's a huge difference between the price you are willing to pay. Because if it's only a lip gloss you're looking for, it's probably like 50 cents or €1. But if I'm selling you a dream, a hope, that by applying our lip gloss or nail polish, you look like Jessica Alba or Halle Berry, then it's a completely different ballgame. Harley Davidson, again, the same question. What is our business? The obvious answer would be motorcycles. But there's like 100 companies around the world producing motorcycles. There's Suzuki, there's Yamaha, there's Kawasaki, there's Piaggio. And there's a difference between the driver who rides a Harley Davidson and with an Italian who rides a Piaggio. What is the difference? And they asked a guy, a manager in Harley Davidson, and he summed it up perfectly. He said, what we sell is the ability for a 43-year-old accountant to dress in black leather, ride a Harley through small towns, and have people around be afraid of him. It's not an easy sight where you're all alone in a small town on a street or in a suburb in a US city, and you're alone in the street, and then you first hear bum, 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 bum. And then along comes a huge guy dressed in black sitting on his chopper. So it's not like you would wave to an Italian on a Piaggio and saying, oh, hi, come on for a drink. Let's have a chat. You're probably going to be, oh my God, is he really after me? Usually when you ask people what does Harley sell, they say a lifestyle. But everyone is selling a lifestyle. The question is, what kind of lifestyle are you selling me? 7 years ago, I was in Milwaukee. I was one of the factories of Harley Davidson. And at that point of time, one of their models, the celebrity who endorsed them, was Britney Spears. So I asked the guy, okay, you're telling me that what you are selling is the ability for someone to dress in black leather and have people afraid of him? So how on earth is Britney Spears representing Harley Davidson? And I was expecting a revelation. I was ready to write it down. And the guy just looked at me and he said, sorry? Well, there are much better looking girls out there than Britney Spears, believe me. He just looked at me and he said, I don't have a clue. It was the guys from the top. You should ask them. So fortunately, after a year, they picked a Californian model, Marissa Miller, who really does look good. And she's, the most important thing, she's a biker herself in real life. So she's not faking it like Britney is. She's really riding a Harley in everyday life, dressed in black leather. What is our business? The obvious, easy one would be coffee. Everyone knows that. But by now, you know that that is not the correct answer. So their their CEO, Charles Schultz, said, we are not in the coffee business serving people. We are in the people business serving coffee. So our competitive advantage is not our coffee. We do not need to have the best coffee in the world. In fact, they don't. It's basically a shitty coffee. But what we do need to have is have the best possible relation with the consumer. That's what Starbucks is all about. And then, yes, you can buy coffee from us. But it's not the only thing you can buy. You can buy tea from us, you can buy water from us, you can buy sandwiches from us, you can buy mints from us. Now they're talking about maybe opening a fully dedicated chain of tea stores named Starbucks. So it's not about the coffee or about the tea. It's about your relationship with the consumer. That's the competitive advantage Starbucks is aiming for. Beats by Dre, probably like the most popular and the most famous headphones in the world. And what is their business? They're not into consumer electronics. Basically, what they are selling is like shitty plastic headphones. You can buy headphones which are 10 times better than these. But people are still buying these, and they are convinced that it's the best sound you will ever get. Why? Because Beats is not a consumer electronics company. Beats is a culture company, a popular culture company. You see Kobe Bryant warming up for his game in LA Lakers, he's wearing Beats. You see Miley Cyrus, she's wearing Beats. You see Lil Jon, he's wearing Beats. You see Emily Ratajkowski, she's wearing Beats. So you immediately think, okay, so these are the cool kids. I want to be cool too. What's the easiest way for me to become cool? I'll spend like a couple of $100s and I'll put on my Beats headphones. So they are basically also selling you hope. But not hope that you will look beautiful, hope that you will be a cool kid like these guys here are. So that's the secret why a shitty piece of plastic can be sold for a couple of $100s. And what are these guys all about? What is their business? They're superheroes and they will save the planet Earth. They are working for a children's hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the US, and they are window cleaners. But they are not into window cleaning business. It's a huge difference. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to be dressed like superheroes. They're into business of putting smiles on kids' faces. That is what they are about. So yes, a window can be maybe a little more spotty than if we hired real professionals. But the kids would be miserable. They already are because they are in a hospital. They're suffering. So we hire superheroes who fling from the sky and put smiles on kids' faces. So if you're running a business, or if you're about to start a business, please first think about what is your business. Go back to Peter Drucker's work, go back to these 5 essential questions, try to answer each one of them, and then they will help you identify what business are you in. What customer need are you serving? Not what you are producing. That's one thing. What your customer is buying is completely another thing. So to conclude my talk, I would like you to take away just one simple message from this talk. Fall in love with your customers, not with your products. Thank you, guys.